Hey everyone, it's Justin with Major Money Tips. Today I'd like to show you how to choose a domain name that rocks. I love that guy. The domain name of your website is very important because it's really the first impression that people have when they come to your website, and also if they're viewing links to your site from other people's websites. It can also play a pretty big role in your site's SEO or search engine optimization, since search engines tend to favor sites with the keywords included in their domain. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that many newbies make is they register a domain without first doing their homework. You know, they're so excited to start their first website and they already know, or they think they know, what they want their domain name to be, and sometimes they end up regretting it later on because they didn't really do enough research or put enough thought into it to begin with. So what if you do choose the wrong domain name? Well, it's really nothing to cry about, especially if you recognize this early on before you build too many backlinks and have a good flow of traffic coming to your website. You just simply register a different domain name and change the site over to the new one. Not a big deal. However, if your site is pretty well established and you do have regular traffic and a fair amount of backlinks, then unless you want to start all over, you're pretty much stuck with it. You also could have the potentially poor search engine optimization if you happen to be targeting the wrong keywords and you realize that later on. Or maybe you have a domain that's rather difficult for your visitors to use. Maybe it's hard to remember. Okay, these are obviously all things you want to avoid, so it's really important that you select the right one to begin with. Now, assuming you already have a niche selected for your website, you know, a topic for your website, what's your website going to be about? Really, the first thing that you need to do is decide what type of website you will be building. Are you going to try and build up a brand, or are you going to build a keyword-rich authority site? Now, if you or your client will be promoting a brand, the domain name should reflect the brand name of the business or company. And here are some popular brand reflective domain names. Notice I put my website Major Money Tips in there. Not that it's real popular or even close to the same league as some of these others, but I simply wanted to show you the purpose of the domain that I've selected for this website is, in fact, brand reflective. The brand being promoted is Major Money Tips. Brand reflective domains are best for large or small businesses with real paying customers or personal blogs. Now, when a brand name becomes popular, many people will actually search for the business's brand in addition to the products and services that they offer. For example, if you're looking to buy something from Walmart or Amazon, you might actually search for Walmart or Amazon rather than those products that they sell. Now, a keyword-rich authority site will have a domain name that matches the site's keyword, or at least close to it. And here's an example. If we're targeting the main keyword DIY home repair, we would obviously want the domain to be DIYHomeRepair.com. Now, the idea behind an authority site is to attract a lot of search engine traffic to your site. And you do this by continuously posting different high-quality, unique pieces of content. Each piece of content added will use a variation or a small niche version, if you will, of the site's main keyword. So, for our example keyword DIY home repair, we might want to publish articles on the site that targets each of these keywords. For example, DIY home maintenance, DIY home appliance repair, DIY home repair books, or home repair DIY projects. The list goes on and on. We could really write about anything DIY related or home improvement related. We could write about plumbing, replacing a light switch, fixing holes in drywall, tiling, whatever. We could write a whole bunch of different articles, kind of their own little niche articles within our authority site main keyword. So how do authority sites make money? Well, some of the more popular methods are Google AdSense ads, selling products from ClickBank or Amazon's affiliate program. You could even use an authority site to sell your own products, assuming you have products related to the same niche as your authority site. Now, there's lots of people making some really good money with these authority sites, and the best part about it is it's passive income. It generates money all by itself while you're not even working. Money on autopilot, as some people might say. I really don't care for that word too much, autopilot, but this is probably as close to autopilot income as you'll ever find. Now, I strongly recommend you avoid using domains that include brand names that you don't own or you do not have the rights to. For example, let's say you have 100 different articles on a site called appleipadtricks.com. You know, maybe the site's making some good AdSense money, and then all of a sudden, yep, you guessed it, a cease and desist letter from Apple demanding you delete the domain immediately or face legal action. Now, they do have every right to do this, and it has happened. I can't speak for Apple. I don't know if Apple has ever issued a cease and desist or not. I'm just using them as an example, but the point is, be careful using domains with other brands that you do not have rights to. Some people do it, and they make it work, but personally, I would not take the risk. Another thing you want to be careful of is buying a domain that restricts the growth of your website. If you're building an authority site, you'll want a minimum of 20 articles, targeting similar yet slightly different keywords, although more articles would be better. Any less than 20 articles, and Google may see your site as kind of a micro niche or a mini site. Not that those types of sites are bad, it's just that after the latest Google updates, a lot of people that had some well-paying micro niche sites, they had them drop out of the search engine rankings, ended up losing a lot of money. So I'm tending to steer clear of the micro niche sites for right now and targeting more on some of the authority sites. I think that would probably be the most profitable in the long run. So before you buy your domain, just ask yourself, will I be able to write at least 20 articles on the subject? I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I'm over here at the Google keyword tool. Now this is just adwords.google.com, and just come over here in the keyword tool, just like that. There we go. Now let's say you're considering purchasing the domain hippieweddingdresses.com, okay, which I think would probably be a pretty good site for a micro niche site, not so much for an authority site, and I'll show you why. Let's just go ahead and look for it here. The keywords here: hippie wedding dresses, and we want to select exact match. Only show ideas closely related to the search terms. We'll go ahead and check that, and we want to get all the keyword ideas. And go ahead and click search. Now, if we had a site, hippieweddingdresses.com, I tell you, I don't know about you, but I would have a very, very difficult time writing 20 articles for this particular keyword. Yeah, I'm probably not the best resource when it comes to the topic of wedding dresses, but I would really have a hard time with it. But what you can do, just by searching for the main keyword, you can get some ideas for maybe some somewhat related keywords that you can use for additional articles on the site. And we have 8, okay, in the Google keyword tool. It's not saying that you can't put your own in there, but you know, it really should be related to the hippie wedding dress theme of the entire site. So I would probably steer clear of hippieweddingdresses.com unless you're going for the niche, micro niche type of site. Okay, a better site that I think would maybe be Unique Wedding Dresses. So we'll check that one here. So Unique Wedding Dresses, we have a few more keyword ideas that it gives us. And there's probably a few more that you can throw in there. You know, we have, you could write articles on the hippie wedding dress theme. You could write articles on camouflage wedding dresses, on unique beach wedding dresses, all sorts of different things. We have quite a bit more selection than with just the hippie wedding dresses theme. So this is probably one that I don't know that I would really go for. I don't know that it's even available. But just to kind of give you an example, don't cut yourself short when you're building an authority site. Definitely give yourself some room to work, write some content on. Another thing you want to keep in mind is how easy will it be for your visitors to remember your domain name and type it into the address bar of a web browser. This is especially true if you're going to go the brand building route, and even more true if you're going to be doing a lot of offline advertising, or if you or your client is going to be doing a lot of offline advertising, especially radio, but you know, also for yellow page ads, classified ads, so on, so forth. Now, do you really need a .com domain? I would say If you're trying to build a brand, then yes. Why? Because they are by far the most popular. The internet started out with the .com domains, and they are the extension that most people associate with the internet. Remember, it's all about making it easier for your visitors to find you. .net and .org are usually okay for the micro niche sites or authority sites, because with those types of sites you really rely on the search engines to bring most of the traffic. Although even with authority sites, I would still go with the .com if you can, at all possible. Obviously, if you're building a government site, you want to go with the .gov, or a site for an educational institute, you're going to use it .edu. Now, if you're only targeting visitors in a certain country, you could also use a country-specific domain such as .uk for the United Kingdom, or .ca for Canada, .it for Italy, etc., etc. Just keep in mind that you may not get many visitors outside of those countries. So what if you're building a brand name and a .com is not available? Well, there's a couple different things you could do. You can try contacting the owner of the domain that you want, see if they'd be willing to sell it to you. Just be prepared to pay for it. You can try adding a prefix or suffix to the domain that you're after. For example, if DIYHomeTips.com is already taken, then maybe try BestDIYHomeTips.com or DIYHomeTipsBlog.com. Just try to keep your domain as short as possible. Under 25 characters would be ideal. You can also try adding hyphens between the words, but you want to use hyphens sparingly and probably avoid them completely if at all possible. Remember, the idea is to keep it easier for people to find and remember your site. If all else fails and you still can't find a suitable .com, you may have to use a .net or a .org instead, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's all about doing everything you can to help people find your site, because a lot of people will type the site name or the domain name into the address bar. Just keep that in mind. And that about wraps it up for this video. Sorry it was a bit long, but hopefully I helped you choose a rockin' good domain name for your website. And as usual, please share the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This is Justin with MajorMoneyTips.com. I'm out of here.